Trump directly deployed 2 nuclear submarines to approach Russia, and Medvedev instantly backed down. His social media went completely silent, and he didn't even dare to make a peep. To put it bluntly, this former Russian president, who usually loves to talk tough, was completely intimidated by the United States this time. So what exactly happened? Medvedev usually has a sharp tongue, constantly posting tough talk online every few days, nuclear threats, the so-called dead hand, and so on. He talks a big game, even better than he sings. When Trump shortened the Russia-Ukraine ceasefire deadline to 10 days, Medvedev immediately jumped out to challenge Trump, playing the ultimatum game with Russia once again. Every new ultimatum is just another step toward war. At the time, seeing his posture, Medvedev seemed pretty tough, directly warning Trump not to follow in Biden's footsteps. This former president has been like this for the past 3 years, constantly making anti-American statements and frequently hinting at nuclear threats. In Russia, he's considered quite a hardliner. He's got quite a few fans, but this time Trump went straight to Truth Social to curse him out, and even called him out by name. He told Medvedev, that failed former Russian president who still thinks he's the president, to watch his mouth. He's stepping into very dangerous territory. That was a pretty savage comment, hitting Medvedev right where it hurts. Even Putin, another former president, hasn't said anything like that. Why are you jumping out and acting all high and mighty? At first, Medvedev tried to hold his ground and fired back on Telegram, saying that if just a few words from a former Russian president could make the US president react so nervously, then Russia must be doing something right. That actually sounded kind of reasonable, but then he went and totally blew it. This guy actually dared to bring up the dead hand, threatening Trump and reminding the US president just how dangerous the legendary dead hand really is. You have to understand, the dead hand is no joke. It's an automatic nuclear retaliation system developed by the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Even if all the commanders were wiped out, this system could still automatically launch nuclear missiles in retaliation. This was basically a direct challenge to the United States. As a result of this nuclear deterrence, Trump immediately announced the deployment of 2 nuclear submarines to the appropriate areas, and made it clear that this was in response to Medvedev's foolish and provocative remarks. This move directly labeled Medvedev's words as a nuclear threat against the United States, and then used that as an excuse to actually deploy nuclear submarines for real. You have to know, since the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, the United States has never issued such a clear nuclear threat to Russia. With this move, Trump directly escalated the war of words into a nuclear standoff. Medvedev was completely stunned. He just wanted to make a splash, but ended up digging a hole for himself. Ever since Trump announced the deployment of nuclear submarines, Medvedev seemed like a changed man. His social media accounts suddenly went eerily quiet. You have to know, this guy is usually an internet addict, constantly posting anti-American comments every few days just to stay relevant. Now, all of a sudden, he's gone silent. What a stark contrast. Why did Medvedev suddenly chicken out? To put it bluntly, he was scared by Trump's nuclear submarines. In the past, when he made tough statements, the US and European officials usually didn't take it seriously. At most, they'd issue a diplomatic protest. Everyone knew he was just all talk. But this time, Trump didn't play by the usual rules. He treated Medvedev's words as a nuclear threat and actually deployed nuclear submarines in response. That's when Medvedev realized he'd gone too far. Even though he likes to talk tough, he definitely doesn't want to trigger a real nuclear crisis. After all, Putin doesn't want US-Russia relations to completely break down either, especially with the Russia-Ukraine conflict still ongoing. In the end, it still has to be resolved through negotiations. If his tough talk were to cause even more serious confrontation, Putin definitely wouldn't let him off the hook. Plus, the ceasefire deadline set by Trump, August 8th, is just around the corner. At such a sensitive moment, if Medvedev keeps running his mouth, it'll only make things worse. The smart move is to keep quiet for now and wait for Putin to announce the official stance. Now Medvedev has completely calmed down. He'll probably think twice before speaking in the future. After all, he's already seen how formidable Trump can be and knows this US president isn't someone to mess with. Those old days of casually dropping hints are over. He probably won't dare to use that approach so recklessly anymore.